We are in. Is it just me?
I'm back.
Hi, guys. I'm going to turn my camera. There we go. Usually have like a little screen up there and I couldn't see it. Fabulous. Well, what's up, everybody? How are you guys doing this evening? If you guys can pop a comment in the comments, that'd be fabulous to make sure everything is hooked up and working correctly.
Let us know who's watching. It's a very short intro for us. Oh, Joy's here. Hello,
Yeah!
Joy.
All right. So good to see you, Joy.
Super duper. So, Genevieve, I feel like we haven't talked in a while. We haven't chatted it up. I don't even know what's going on in your life.
This has been a crazy week, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm always shocked by how fast the week goes. Like now, I feel like as an adult, it does go by faster. But on the flip side, yeah, I don't think we've really caught up on ponies. And honestly, I haven't spent a whole lot of time with my horses in the past week just because of work.
Yeah.
I keep thinking, so I go every morning and I muck stalls, and I keep thinking, well, should I clip my horse? Because I'm like, that needs to be done. But he'd just be sitting there naked for like 2 weeks before I do something with him right now.
It's such a shame too, because this week's weather has just been so perfect for riding. I've only gotten to ride like once, so
it was so beautiful. Yeah, I've just had a lot going on with my work, and that's just how it is. But it is nice to be able to go every morning, and that's kind of where I get centered. I'll put on like an audiobook and I go and I muck stalls and spend some time with the horses in the morning, which is great, even if I can't go back and ride or if I can't ride in the morning. Usually I'm like really cool when I get up super early and I ride before work, but I was like, I should maybe give myself a little break and give my horses a little break while I have a lot of work responsibilities. So how about you? Have you been able to ride?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to ride a couple times this week. I mean, it is Wednesday, so riding twice this week is probably a big deal for me. I usually only ride on weekends for the most part, and I've started my lesson program this week. Yay. I'm officially a business owner. I've been teaching lessons. So that was exciting, and that forces me to get to the barn more.
It does.
And it forces me to really have a game plan for not only my students, but then I'm like, well, if I'm putting this much effort into my students, why am I not putting this much effort into myself as like a rider? Like I need to have specific goals for myself and be active the whole time I'm riding and have like, okay, today we're going to work on this. We're not just kind of like here for the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so I brought my Pivo today in the barn, and I spent a good hour and a half, 2 hours at the barn this morning and just recorded everything and watched it back when I came home and ate breakfast, and I had a really, really good time. Yeah, I got to do that more.
That's fabulous. Yeah, you're going to have to get some of that video up. I want to see it. I'm like in for the journey with Poppy. I want to know.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the mama in the house.
Yeah, Linda. Hello, hello.
Linda says hello. It has been, guys, I'm tired today. I'm not going to lie. Like I was thinking today we'll talk about organizing events and I was going to put some structure around it. And then I was just in meetings. And so I think we have potentially a backup plan. It's going to be pretty fun after we catch up here.
Well, I was going to ask you, how is the daylight savings affecting you physically?
Hate it. Yeah, it's definitely the SADS, I think. Yeah. Seasonal depression hits for sure around this time of year for me. Like as soon as it starts, like I just even noticed the sun was setting before I was getting off work because I was in meetings until 6 and I'm sitting here in like the sunlight. It's like golden hour as a photographer. You're just like, oh, it's beautiful. And it's coming through the window and it's just wasted. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? And I always think there's another day that I'll be able to go out and take pictures and do some of like the trees and no, but it goes by so quickly. So you have to be very intentional with your time when it's like this. Yeah. Definitely some walking lunch breaks for sure.
Right. This week I've like forced myself because of daylight savings. I could feel like, the seasonal depression hitting really, really hard. I was like, okay, we're going back to the gym. We're going back 4 times a week. Not gonna lie, I've only made it twice this week, but I did get to ride this morning, so that was more important.
That's so exciting.
My priority list. But yeah, going back tomorrow and then Friday, and like I can barely walk. Like I hit it hard at the gym.
I definitely need to get back there. And I've been thinking that to myself. Part of it, like I got derailed because Brennan and I together were in like a groove. And then when everything happened with the injury, it just like threw me off because I was taking care of him, and maybe it was an excuse, I don't know. But at this point, I'm like, you know what? You had time, use it as like an opportunity to have refreshed and then be excited to go back. So definitely, I've been thinking like that's what I need to do. I need to get physically active, and then I'll feel so much better.
Right.
Joy is riding until 5. Yeah, it's getting dark early.
Leave it. Linda says leave in the dark and get home way after dark now. Oh, that
It's
sucks.
painful.
Oh, see, and Linda, though, that's like the main reason you need to get back to like going to the gym on a regular basis, because that you're gonna need everything that the gym gives you in that moment to just get through your week, not get depressed.
Solar floodlights for the ring. I've thought about that too. Unfortunately, our ring is very close to a road, and there's like restrictions as far as how you can shine lights right beside a road
Ew.
at night. Otherwise, that would be so brilliant. I think some sort of a floodlight would be amazing. Shannon said she just finished riding. Shannon, do you have lights in your arena? And guys, I'm going to tilt my camera slightly because I feel like it's shooting up at the wall. So give me a second. Good.
Yeah, Shannon, do you have lights at your ring? How do you ride so late? Linda says need to get back to the gym. Yes, I support you 100%.
It needs to happen. You'll just feel better, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Genevieve lost you. I don't know if that was intentional. But
Am I totally gone?
oh, you're back
No,
now.
you're
Oh my
still there.
goodness, we have a special guest.
Do we?
Oh, and he's gone.
Oh, he just flipped me to the other side. Where
That's annoying.
am I going?
Tommy,
Chaos.
stop. Carolyn, okay. Shannon says not at the place we're at. And then
So
Genevieve
no
says,
lights there. Okay.
Linda says Jen building a room. Jen building a room.
I was putting up my studio, right?
Yeah. Carolyn says, okay, who's clicking on that? Is it
I
Tommy?
think it's Thomas.
Okay.
He's a
Carolyn,
rogue back there.
I have ridden with a head flashlight. Can't hear you, Tom.
I'm just
that's
saying.
fine. Goodbye.
I'm removing him. I'm banning
Tom
him
is
from
part of the
studio.
multiverse right now.
I'm about to ban him from the studio.
So, how do you ride without lights? So, what I do is I get up super early, get my horse tacked in the dark, and then as the sun is cresting the horizon, I get my horses worked right before work. Like, if you have to get up and you have to get to work by 6, like you just don't, you know, it's really difficult. So, we're definitely there right now. It's trying times, friends.
Yeah.
You've ridden
That's why
with
we
a
need
head
to
flashlight.
Sorry, who says that?
Oh,
But Joy says, how do you ride without lights? I guess Shannon's riding without lights right now. How do you do that?
just riding a big. I mean, you know, horses technically survive in the dark. I mean, in theory, I guess they probably can see better than you.
As long as you know there's like no holes or ditches or anything, you're good. You're good.
Did we want to try this thing?
Let's go for it.
All right, guys.
I just wanted to
have a
say real quick,
special-
because you're not checking the private chat, I got to leave and edit. So bye, guys.
Toodles. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your help.
Cheers.
Tom is the man behind the scenes who's constantly keeping us on schedule. Honestly, we probably never would have launched this without his push. He's been the one kind of driving us to get stuff scheduled.
100% accurate.
I'm giving you credit, sir.
We're giving you credit where credit is due. Goodbye.
Anyway, so he's been the man behind all the episodes that get launched, and even getting all this set up and teaching us how to use the platform. Everything has been Tom. So huge shout out to Tom for all of his help. So y'all try that with your spotty. I'm not sure it'll go. I think riding in the dark is what she's talking about there. We have set up a Skype number to try to do a call-in show.
Yeah.
Does somebody want to call in? I'm going to plug this in, get my Skype set up. Bear with me because I don't have the proper aux converter, so I'm Jimmy wagging it. It likes to hum a little is all I'm saying.
I can hear it.
I know. Here, I'll unplug it. Or
Listen a
here,
little
I'll do
bit.
this.
Wait
I'm gonna
until
turn it
somebody
down. Turn the volume
wait until
down
somebody calls.
Yeah.
And then plug it in.
So
It might get a little
somebody,
fuzzy.
you want to give them the number?
Sure. Linda says, Joy, you call.
Guys, so this is the number 571-933-6164. 571-933-6164. Give it a call and let's see if we can get this to work. We're not 100% certain.
First come, first serve, y'all.
If we boot you, no offense, we love you, but we have a time commitment. All right,
Joy said she's
we're
ready.
getting a call
Let's go.
here. Can you hear this?
I think. I don't hear it ringing. Did you answer it?
I just answered. Hello. Can you hear me? Oh, hang on. They are turned way down.
Yes, so there's a big lag on my computer. I
I
should
can
actually
hear
turn the
you.
volume down on my computer.
I have to like hold the plug into this thing to make it work. Keep talking, Carly.
Okay. So
This
I
is
can
how
hear
we get
someone
good
on the
at this.
phone. Who's on the phone?
I am.
I'm hearing
Is it Joy?
it's Joy. Joy, it's so good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's Joy.
Carly, can you hear her?
I can hear her, but Joy, can you hear me?
Joy, can you hear
Yeah,
Carly is the question. So
No,
we're trying to figure out if we've
I
got
can't
two
hear Carly
laptops.
on the phone.
That's okay.
Oh, so she hears you through the stream. That's crazy.
Tell her to turn the stream off
Can
so
you
you
turn
can have
the
a conversation
stream
with her.
down so that we can actually talk with you without an echo?
Yeah, hang on.
Call for a
Okay,
good
so I
time.
just turned my computer volume off.
Yes, perfect. I can hear you just fine. I think you can hear me talking. Can you hear Carly talking? Let's try that one more time.
Can you hear me, Joy?
No.
Okay, so she
That's
can't hear
fine.
you. So
That's
we're gonna
fine.
have to figure out. So anyway, Joy, you are riding without lights.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
But
gosh.
until I stop when it gets dark.
Oh,
Shannon rides in the dark, not me.
Yeah, I'm Shannon, if you want to call in after this, I'm curious how you get your ponies used to riding in the dark here. And so when do you start, Joy? Like what time do you get off work?
I get out of work at 3.
That's good.
And I get home about 3:30. Today I didn't get on until about 4:30. I think I got 20 minutes in today. I was out in the barn about 4:30. So yeah, it took 10 minutes to tack up.
Hey, I'm
Rode
telling
for
you,
20 minutes.
these 20-minute rides, they are money. Like that has helped my ponies so much. Just going out there, like forcing myself to just get them tacked, get on, do something, make it a positive experience, get some conditioning done and be done.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and we're doing, unless we're practicing games, we're doing intervals. So it's like 5-minute walk, 5-minute trot, 5-minute walk, 5-minute trot. And tonight it was basically 3 5-minute walks and 2 5-minute trots. So 25 minutes.
I mean, that's plenty though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
Really
I mean,
quick. Hang on one second. I'm gonna try to add Carly in. I'm curious, Carly, if I can call your number too. Put your private number in the chat. I have an idea. So we can make this work with 2 people. So we know how to make StreamYard work with a call-in potentially when you have one person on the screen because it's routing through my computer and my phone, right? The question is how we add her
on the public chat, but that's fine. Everybody
Oh,
here knows my number anyway.
All right.
Are you wanting me to mute myself?
No, I think this will work if you mute your cell phone once you get it because you're going to be hearing it through here, but then we'll be able to hear your voice on the Skype call. I don't know. I'm not sure how this is going to work. Hang on. Let's see. Are you getting it or did you reject me? It said you're unavailable.
I didn't get any calls.
That's terrible.
What are you calling me on?
I'm calling you from Skype. If you have Skype,
I don't
that's
have Skype.
another. Okay. Well, there you go.
That's why.
That's an opportunity.
Opportunity missed.
So, yeah, Joy, I mean, riding it has been so hard for me to motivate myself. I think I just have like maybe a 2-week span where I have to get back in the swing of things once the time changes. Like it's really tough for me with work because I go from having like a separation between me and the people on the West Coast and my Arizona time frame. And then everything kind of shifts. And it's a little bit like my whole schedule just gets blown for a couple of weeks there. Linda says Skype can still call her cell phone. Shall I try one more time?
Okay.
Do you want to try calling the number, Carly, and see if I can just add you in?
Sure.
That might be an option too. So, Joy, what is your next big competition? Is it Gobbler Games?
Gobbler games?
Yes. It's going to be so much fun.
That's
All
the
right.
end of the season for us. Yeah.
Okay, it won't let me, Carly.
Until next May.
I had to
Poor
decline
Carly.
Carly there because it is going to make me kick Joy, and I feel really bad about that. So,
No, keep Joy on.
I think it's better. But yeah, so this is really cool. Anything you want to talk about, Joy? Joy, just remember the layout of the field, and my pony knows where things are at. That's true. That's what Shannon's saying, is that your pony really does know the field that they live in, right? So if you're riding in the field, should be okay. The question is, like, I guess confidence in not being able to see is a little bit weird as a rider.
Yeah. And I can't see anything in the dark.
Yeah, that's fair too. Get to a point. Need those night vision goggles while you ride.
Right.
Step up the game. Oh, it's too funny. Well, really cool.
We've had ponies that are night blind too. The
That's true.
appies, the appies that are varnish roan, like Tonks, and the Sassy. I don't know if you guys remember Sassy, the pony that we used to have. Sassy could not see in the dark. Like,
Oh, wow.
we had this indoor that we used to go to that was really dark inside, and she could not see in there, and she would start refusing jumps. And we're like, what is wrong with this pony? But it was because she couldn't see. And I had
Oh.
no idea that LP carries night blindness. But yeah, so if you have an LP, like a varnish roan,
Mhm.
like Sassy or Tonks, they can't see well in the dark.
It's specifically the varnish too, because I've had
Right,
every
it's the
leopard
varnish, yeah.
checked.
The
I-
LP.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have not seen it for a leopard yet, personally, which is a little
No,
shocking.
right. Yeah, it's the varnish. Yeah. It's the varnish roan. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. So Carol Ann said, I get motion sick riding in the dark. So you had to try to know. Now I've got to go try and find out if I get motion, because I get car sick. So am I going to get like horse sick when I'm riding like that? I don't know. Well, Joy, thank you so much for calling. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about?
Sure. Can I get off the phone and go back to the chat?
You absolutely can. Calling. Bye.
Thank you, Joy.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
I'm wondering, Carly, if it is picking up on my voice because it's literally coming through my cell phone. Like, is my voice from the room carrying into the cell phone? And that's the reason that she's able to hear it there.
I don't know. Does your Scarlet have?
Yeah, I mean, it's
capabilities?
plugged in, and that's what's allowing the output to go to the laptop. So you guys can hear it. You can hear what
Okay.
she's saying.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is not necessarily flowing into it because I'm not plugged into the phone otherwise. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know.
But someone could technically, if you guys wanted to call and have some headphones in so it doesn't cause the echo, you would then be able to hear Carly. So
Right.
is an option. Does anyone
But
else
then-
want to call in?
Then you would hear an echo of yourself. So just be forewarned because we kind of did this testing
That's
ahead
true.
of time. But still fun. Still fun. Thank you, Joy, so much for joining in and being our first guinea pig.
We appreciate you.
Anybody have tips for pairs? Oh, that's a good
That's a really good one.
point.
If you guys want to call in, you're welcome to and share your tips for pairs. If you don't, you're welcome to post it in the chat and we'll read it here. But the number, if you want to call in, is 571-933-6164. 571-933-6164. So you're welcome to call in. As far as pairs, right? I think the thing that I practice before a pairs competition most is going to be riding back up the field. Like that's the number one thing that I think my pony needs like reset on, because you'll say you're doing a lot more skills where you do it twice, like litter, right? You go and you ride litter. Now you've got to turn and set it down and go back up the field and get a second litter and come back. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more opportunities where
Yeah.
you're turning your pony back up the field around an element versus just like going straight home. Same thing for Carton, right? So I think that's the first thing when I know it's coming. I start practicing like, hey, you're not going to just get to bolt home. And then I start doing like the check and turn back up the field.
That's why
Pretty
I
helpful.
think it was so awesome to have been able to ride in individuals last year for the first time ever, because
Right?
I didn't even know how to ride some races like individual style. And
Yep.
that's such a good way to just train and practice. Like, even if that's just the pattern that you teach your horse, that way they're listening and they're not expecting to just run up, run back, run up, run back. If you practice individual style, which is kind of like what got me thinking, like, okay, I'm training Poppy all of the patterns. I'm doing my best to be predictable because she's already an anxious horse. So I'm like,
Yeah.
my number one goal with her is to be predictable at all times. She's gonna know how I'm gonna react no matter what she's doing. Am I gonna yell at her? No. And
Yeah.
like, how am I going to communicate with her so that we're always on the same level and so that she understands what I'm asking, because I just don't want her to be nervous around me. I want her to like be able to listen to me and be like, okay, this is what she means. Long story short, yeah. So I think that the best way to train games ponies right now is to just train them individual style so that they get used to that pattern and then they're just always listening.
Are we doing Four Flag? For Gobbler games? Yes. Four Flag is out there. I actually went through the pairs. So Carly, before ADD, yes, agree with you 100%. Training for individuals, huge.
I was like, where's this
One,
comment?
one, it builds resilience. Two, it's so good for teaching your horse to go back up the field and not learn to just run home, right? So good.
Yeah.
Then I saw Joy's comment, of course, and I'm trying not to click on the chat because last time I did, I hosed everything up each time that I clicked on it. We were
Right.
just
That's
bouncing
my
around.
job.
So yes, I think individuals is huge. And I would love to have an individuals or pairs series next year, or even maybe like pairs for like O25 and then individuals for fast. I'm not sure, like a jackpot individuals for fast, maybe.
Yeah.
That was
that would
really
be
fun one
awesome.
year. Definitely. So Linda, I think, and she's mom, but Linda, do you want to call in? I think you should call in.
Linda should call
and just
in.
say hi.
So while we're waiting for Linda to call in, I would like to talk about what I'm drinking tonight, because I specifically went up and down the aisles trying to figure out what was the coolest wine there. So this evening, I am drinking Gnarly Head Grateful Dead.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Isn't it cool?
Look
It's
at
got like a
that.
skull and roses and
I
this
love it.
badass tree. It's a Cabernet red, obviously. It's pretty good. And it
so
was only
good.
$10.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I know.
The best, honestly, like Trader Joe's is the place to go if you need to get a bottle of wine. It really is so
that's a
much
good call.
cheaper. You get stuff in bulk. I have had a really sour stomach for like 3 days at this point. And so I am drinking ginger ale with a little bit of liquor in it, but not a lot, honestly. Mostly just ginger ale.
Thank
My
you,
stomach
Joy,
is
coming
just-
in clutch with that number for Linda.
Again, the number is 571-933-6164. And if you want, you can beat Linda the punch and call in. Oh. Hello. Let me turn
Hello.
this up.
I won't have to because I'm on my cell phone, so I'm not watching anymore.
So this is Linda, right?
This is Linda, Mom.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Wonderful. You made it home safe from work.
Yes, I did. Fed the horses, and then
Fabulous.
Dad fed me.
Hey, priorities, right?
That's right. That's right.
I think that we should try one more time to get Carly called in, especially since you're only on the phone. Let me just try this once more. I'm going to call her number, which she posted up over the world. Let's see. There it is. All right. 6.
I think you have to put the person on hold first.
Really?
You're on Skype?
Essentially, yes.
Because usually, at least in the office, if you call somebody, it puts the call on hold. And then after the person answers, it rejoins them.
All right. Well, I'll put you on hold and I will try that. It's a hold call. And then, no, it just says resume call. This isn't working.
Genevieve, what if you just called me and your mom on your personal line? Just do that real quick.
Let's try it. She's going
Hang
to be
up on
so
your mom and
offended
call
that I
her back.
just hung up on her.
Good.
Oh, this is crazy. Y'all can hear this.
Yeah.
Hello?
All right. I'm calling
Hello?
you from the phone.
That's
but
even
you're-
better quality, Genevieve.
There you go. Yep. You're live on the show right now. I'm going to go ahead and add Carly.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh my goodness. This is just add call.
Just do like a 3-way call.
I'm trying.
I'm telling you.
Is it calling you? All right, you're merged. You are one. Can you
Carly?
hear me?
I can hear.
All right.
Hello?
Yep.
I heard Carly.
She can hear you now,
Okay.
Carly. Okay.
That's great. I'm just gonna take my headphones off because getting real weird.
If you have your phone down on the desk, then it's really hard to hear you. So there's that. Yeah, there you go. That's better.
There we go.
Yeah, so much better. Anyway, so this is cool. So long story short, I had some stuff I was thinking about talking about with organizing events and going into it. It was more structured, but I didn't really have the time to get my wits about me to really talk to it. I mean, I could, but I'd rather do like a better job in the future. So we're like, hey, let's do a live call-in show, which we have found out requires a whole lot of things. It's very complicated to actually get set up. So we ended up going from software to hardware to using a cell phone. Cell phone only allows it to come through on one side. So here we are. But I wanted to ask you how everything went at MA6. She's like, you're throwing me on the spot. I know, but you do well with it. So
So which one are you addressing? Our guest,
our
Linda
guest
Ahrens.
caller.
MA6, the first heat, typically in a competition, we have 3 heats, 2 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday.
Yeah.
And our first heat went well. We rode well. Our second heat, because we were doing concurrent because of the weather, we had a really rough second heat. Kind of a meltdown, I would say, for 3 races. But we persevered. We rode extremely well on Sunday, and we pulled out an overall win for the series.
Was it a meltdown like your team
You?
wide?
Yeah.
Was it a
It was
specific
team wide. Yeah,
person?
we
Was it a pony?
no ponies were the ponies were full of it because of the weather.
Yeah. And you were concurrent.
and we were concurrent, so we couldn't get into a real rhythm. We were getting cold, and we had a very bizarre for us error that I was so busy just
Carol
was
Ann
the-
says, let's have the national anthem in the freezing rain.
yes, well, that's after we warmed up. We had the national anthem, yes, and then we
Oh.
rode one race, and then we were out. But really, I think what it was is we got off kilter, and it just kind of spread, but we got it together. And it wasn't at each other. It was just just one of those things.
Yeah.
Got in a funk.
We kind of got in a funk, and Tommy
It's
told us to
hard.
get our heads out of our butts and,
Pull through, right?
yeah, just so people that are listening, Thomas rides with my team, and he had a hurt back, so we were riding 4-man too.
Yep. And it was, so as Carol Ann said, it was not a pretty competition. Joy, it was so cold. You are so right. Saturday was freezing, guys. If you were not
Freezing
there,
cold.
it was a cold weekend. Like
It was windy.
it was the
wet.
coldest it had been all year, and then it was windy, and then it was downpour the entirety of Saturday. So
Yeah.
it was cold. It was
Yeah.
I think we even had snow flurries in there too.
yeah.
We had the whole gamut in the morning, and we were taking 2 hours to ride. And our two hostesses, they are in the open division, and they had to work in all of that. And everybody, the 025 division was riding concurrent, and we did get breaks, but we also were in uniform, so we rode for 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah, and I
know.
was working it. I know Carly was too, right? I know our division was working ground crew the whole time. So
Yes,
people who
for
are
2
familiar with
hours.
mountain games, right? When you're out there, you have riders that are on the field. You have an equivalent heat of riders that are out there working the ring crew or arena setup. They're the people who go out and move all the equipment, who are judging the lines, etc. Yeah, so it was cold, and it was like a 2-hour heat because it was concurrent with 2 sets of riders going. One rider would run a race, step out, and then they would come in and run 2 races, step out, and they would run the next race, and so on and so forth. So it was a pretty long, grueling day. But you guys, I mean, you pulled it out, like you said. You guys kind of just got in a funk, and it's very hard when you're concurrent, I think, to get out of that mental state and get your pony, like, change it and turn it around when things start going south.
And that is true, and especially since we never got into a rhythm. I mean, some people like riding concurrent. I don't think anybody on my team does. So that makes it even harder. So you don't have anybody going, "Yay, this is great."
It's just negativity.
But yeah, it wasn't the best way to end the competition season, but this year we had a lot of rain in our competitions.
That is so
Right.
true, actually.
We
So
did.
Joy said I made a lot of mistakes in MA6. Yeah, we were definitely feeling it too. I think our team was feeling the pressure. It's just hard all around.
Right.
And you're right. So we got rained out of 2 competitions on the second day. I feel like there were
Was
2
it
that we
this
ended
year?
up leaving early, or is it just 1?
I think
I
it was
can't
just
remember.
one. Last year, so 2022, MA1 was rained out, and it was
That's
turned
right.
into the players competition. 2023, I'm pretty sure it was just nationals.
Yeah.
No MA. We had to end MA5 short on Saturday because that's the only day we've had rain in Virginia.
That's
Oh,
true.
for Morgan
Yeah,
Park.
yep.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, on Saturday.
I think that's saying that we need another competition here so we can get rain.
It's Virginia. Yeah, I was gonna say because we got gobbler games, Mom. I don't know if you're here, like, just take on another. Just do another. You got this.
You got to bring people from way out of state to get
Yeah.
rain.
Joy said, having been an organizer, I can say that I will not do concurrent heats. We tried it once. It's easier on ring crew to a point, but it's so split on who enjoys it and who doesn't. Definitely for me, I hate it. It just does not allow me to get into a rhythm. I think it's very, very difficult. If you have a lot of time constraints, though, as far as like pushing the competition through to make sure you get to all your heats, it might save you like 30 minutes, which sometimes matters, right? Like I can see why they occasionally do it, but it's not my personal preference. Again, a lot of people, though, they enjoy it. So,
But like warming up for like 30 minutes and then riding for like 2 hours, basically. I mean, it's a long time to be in the saddle twice in one day.
yeah.
I mean, you're literally riding like 5 hours for one day. Like, it's crazy.
Well, people that are listening, we did not ride for 5 solid hours.
Right. But it was just constant
It
time
was
when
a
the
long-
saddle was on your horse,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Not to mention,
Now-
like when you do concurrent, you've got the 2 hours that you're out working, like our team. We're out there working because we're in an
Yep.
open. We were paired with the whole of O25, which is now 2 sets of people all riding concurrently staggered. Then you have us who works all of that. We get maybe a session between, and then you're on a horse. I mean, in that session between, you're kind of tacking and getting stuff situated so that you can go ride to get off,
Right.
to cool out really quickly, to run back into the same swing of things. It gets very, very condensed. And so when people are like, well, I mean, you're exhausted by the end of Saturday, it's because you're hustling through the whole thing. It's not just like you
Yeah.
ride like a show jump course and you're done. Like you have to also work
Yeah.
an equivalent amount of time.
And, you know, what is our ring? 350 by 400?
I think it's more than that.
Is it more than that?
Yeah, I think it's
It's a
400 by
very big
400 at
ring.
PA.
You know, and we can ride up to 45 people in the ring at a time, plus ring crew, plus equipment. So it's not a small area that you're trudging
It's
through
true.
either
Yeah.
with all that, you know, the footing.
Got a
that's
quarter
there.
mile hike to go to lane 6. Like Carol Ann, I hate concurrent. You can never get into a rhythm. I agree with you. It's rough. It's tough. It's tough on the ponies. It's tough on us. Some people like to have the time to regroup and they have kind of that positive mind. And maybe this is, we're coming back to mindset, guys. Like maybe we should be more positive about concurrent when they run it. But like,
It's hard to be when your pony doesn't like it,
yeah, it's true.
you know?
My
Sometimes-
pony likes it because, you know, by the time I'm tired, he's like, let's go. I got to rest for, you know, 35 minutes of the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
And by the
Well, she-
time I'm expecting him to slow down and start listening, he's like, nope, let's jump the line. Let's.
Not a fan of concurrent, especially in the cold, says Shannon. Agreed.
Yeah.
In the cold, it's a bit rough. It's
Oh, Joy, that's so true. Joy says the ponies think they are done and then you go back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one way to blow
Guys.
up ponies, especially like somebody newer to games.
Or if
Yeah.
you have a horse that's a little bit more prone to having like mental breaks. I know Hero earlier on in his career, it was a lot harder for him to do something like concurrent. Even
Yeah.
Fizz was like extra. People who saw Fizz at that MA1 like 2 years ago, that pony is fabulous at home. And literally that day, he's doing airs above the ground. He's going backwards. His feet are going in directions I didn't know ponies' feet could go. Like,
Oh,
filled with so much rage because he kept thinking he was done. And every time that he'd misbehaved slightly, he then got out of work as far as he was concerned. And then went back in.
Yes.
And he's like, so by the end of the cycle, every time he's like, just got worse and worse and worse because he was being reinforced that you don't have to keep going. Like, you just get to go wait. So it's a bit rough
Yeah.
for him mentally.
oh, it'd be so frustrating. I would have given up.
It's
I mean, we had a pony that never had to ride concurrent, and I honestly don't think Cowboy would have. I think he would just stop.
Oh, I have a picture of Cowboy that, hang on, let me go find it.
You'll have to share it with us.
This one is
He
pretty
was
great.
so cute. He's a chestnut and white, wasn't he?
Mhm. He reminded me a
Yes.
lot of Billy's new horse Jasper, because he had kind of like that half face. He's like a bald face, like Overo kind of paint, really pretty horse, and he was honestly fabulous, like the best personality ever. But
Oh yeah,
he was
and
like,
he would ride all day long until you loosened his girth, and then you're done. Period.
100%.
In the conversation.
No more, no mercy.
That's so funny.
I am getting on. Oh my goodness, the years. I think it's in this album.
Well, I can't believe that you can even find that.
Oh, I am a magical person.
I have a question for you guys. Okay, it's about riding Poppy today.
Yeah.
So I noticed that when I try to post the trot, she just breaks into a canter. But when I sit the trot, we have a lovely selected trot.
Mhm.
But I want to be able to post. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do I just incorporate some posting here and there and get stronger with the reins? Or I just feel like I want to be off her mouth. because she's so sensitive as it is, and she's riding in a full cheek snaffle, and that's amazing, and I don't want to have to up the bit at all, but she's also very strong and
Yeah.
very athletic. So what are your thoughts on getting her to
Not break into a
let
canter.
me? Yeah.
Yeah. I have thoughts, but I'm kind of curious because we have a lot of people that are watching right now that I
I
recognize.
should get off, and
are
Carol Ann
trainers. I was
should
going to
call
say
in.
people could call in. So, Mom, unless you have
Yep.
words of wisdom, I'm going to dump you.
Absolutely not. I would say ground poles, cavalettis, at trot distance. But we're going to let the person that actually trained the horse call in. Carol Ann, it's your turn. Bye, guys.
Like, I
Really?
didn't sign up for this.
She's like, I'm out.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. So, if Caroline, Caroline, if you want to talk, just say something, and I will call you in on my cell phone right now because that seems to be easier. If you don't, that's totally fine too. So my thoughts, right? A lot
Yeah.
of horses that are Western trained, I think very often get used to a nice, heavy, secure seat, heavy, secure, like through your leg. People who maybe haven't had a really foundational dressage background to get you super deep in that saddle are potentially going to get a little bit more light, a little bit more rigid, a little bit more propped as they start posting. And so if you bring your body forward a little bit, you get a bit lighter and your leg kind of can move just a little bit more freely because you're posting. You're going to have to be super conscious of how your body is moving when you are going to post on the horse, right?
Okay.
And then the pressure release that Caroline is talking about, totally valid, right? With your half halts, the give and take. I would also suggest that you throw sitting trot in consistently. Like think about doing post for a couple of strides, sit. Post for a couple of strides, sit. And so actually, ironically, Fizz and I are going through this exact same struggle because Fizz, his natural inclination is to canter. I think he's actually a 5-gated horse. He reminds me a lot of Ruben was.
Oh.
So he has kind of a rack that he'll break into very rarely. But with that, cantering is so much easier for him than trotting. Trotting's just difficult. And it takes years sometimes for a 5-gated horse to really feel confident at the trot, at least my experience with Ruben. So anyway, if I go to post, he instantly wants to carry into a canter. He just feels more comfortable there. And so for me, I would sit, and then I'll post a couple of strides. I feel him like racking up the speed, and then we go back to sit. And then my goal is to get to post more and more and more throughout the session so that he gets used to me being lighter in the saddle. And I have to be super conscious in that training cycle until he matures what's happening with my upper body, my leg, and my seat, because you want to be as heavy as possible to keep their back quiet as you go.
Right. And I'm so used to the opposite. Like with
You
Remington,
kind of
it was like
relax.
you have to be light on Remington, otherwise he just melts. Like he's just done. Like otherwise you have to be like, okay, I'm gonna be light. Like I'm not heavy, right? Like we're gonna keep going, and then you lift him up with your legs. And Poppy, anytime I have any kind of leg aid whatsoever, it's like canter. Here we go, fast. We're going fast. And I'm like, nah, it's not what I meant, but good try.
It's so true. So we've got a lot of comments here. You want to read it?
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with Joyce. Joyce said, all right, let's go all the way up here. Keep your upper body back in your rising trot. Okay, so I need to go back and rewatch my videos for my Pivo and see anytime I try to post if I started to lean forward. That's a good point. She said, don't lean forward. All right. Carol Ann says training is full of pressure and release. Make sure you do both. I know that I definitely was doing that constantly today. Like I made a conscious effort to do the pressure and release because I do not want to, give her a hard mouth whatsoever. I want her to stay as supple and sensitive as she is. Joy says Ariana prefers canter to trot. I think she was Western trained, and when we ask her to move out in the trot, she breaks into a canter. We just keep asking. Interesting. Okay. Well, I don't think Poppy was Western trained. I think she's really green, to be honest.
I don't think she's had a lot of foundation there.
No. Carol Ann says train the half halts as you are trotting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth, let me see if my camera will let me get it. So when you go from figure out where my camera is.
No, you're good. Right there.
So when
Maybe
you
take
go
like a
from
half a
like
step forward.
my
Half a
forward.
step forward. Perfect.
Okay.
Right there.
So you're sitting your trot, right? We're
Mhm.
sitting the trot.
Yes.
And then you go to post. A lot of times when people go to post, even if their hips slide back,
Yeah.
you're still pushing your weight slightly forward, right?
Right.
So
right.
what you want to be conscious of is thinking about posting through your hips ahead of your shoulders almost. Like you're going to be going forward from that parallel that you see.
Okay.
So try not to push your hips out back, which is normally what you do when you go into a half seat. You know, you're going to slow your rise, stay tall, and think about pushing your hips through the vertical versus having your hips move with your body as you kind of come up, which is what we tend to do when we relax and we're playing games.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So if you think, like, if you watch a dressage rider that like is flatting on the trot or something, and you'll see that their shoulders stay super tall and their hips almost like break ahead of the vertical as they're trotting.
Yeah.
Their body stays pretty perpendicular. You know?
Okay. So practice doing that, and once she gets used to that, then hopefully to a certain
And then
point,
everything starts to relax because now she's just got another button that's
she's
in
gonna be
there,
used to
right?
it. Yeah. Joy says yes to what Caroline says. Sit deep when you sit. You're rising. Okay. Slow
Yes.
your rise. I tried to slow my rise, but she just kept going.
It's
every time.
that was one thing I remember like through Pony Club is they would always be like, slow your posting, slow the rise to the trot, and the horse will match your gait. And very often they don't, but they should, and they will eventually. The point is they just don't give you the instant gratification of you being like, I'm doing this right.
Yeah.
So for me, like I put a beat in my head and I'll be like 1, 2, 1, 2, whatever it is. And then I try to just force it. It is the most mechanical, uncomfortable feeling, but
Yeah.
it really does help to set a cadence where when they get it right, they start to fall into a rhythm with you versus you trying to catch your rhythm up to them.
Yeah.
So be very intentional about counting it out as you go to help
Right.
slow the rhythm down.
That's a good point. Carolyn says your saddle can be pushing you forward.
It's true. The cantle can sometimes like pop up in the back. So the back of the saddle, the cantle there can sometimes be coming forward if it's not very balanced.
Yeah.
My
My saddles finally fits her. Like I think it fits her like really good actually at a extra wide. And it's really, really nice. And I have the no slip pad underneath. And to be completely honest, I haven't felt it like slip barely at all. I've been putting the breastplate on just in case, but see, okay, joy. Okay. So that's what I thought. That's what I thought today. And I thought I'm going to add some little circles, 15-meter, even smaller circles in here and there. Circles can help. Anytime I asked for a circle, and I think it's because she's not fit, she breaks into a canter.
She speeds up and drops into it.
As soon as I ask for anything like less than a 20-meter circle, breaks into a canter because it's just, I think, easier.
Yeah.
Because she's just not fit.
Yeah. I think that's probably just her natural inclination is canter is easier. She's not fit. Would totally make sense too.
Yeah.
It could just be that she likes to canter. A lot of horses don't have a good canter. And she has a really good canter. She's naturally very collected, very balanced at the canter. So that's actually, all of that's a plus. Having a pony that only wants to trot, like a lot of Welsh ponies do, actually ends up faulting you down the line because you can't ever get a really good, strong gallop out of them, or it takes a lot of time to build that.
Yeah. I mean,
Not a bad problem.
Anytime, like, she picks up the correct lead literally every single time. Like, she has a flying lead change just like that. And it's just so nice, but not when I want to go like Mach 10. Like, I'm not ready yet, Poppy. Slow down.
All the transitions too. Yeah. And I find Joy, I had the same issue with Fizz though. When I try to circle even a 20-meter circle or something smaller, or something larger, any sort of a turn where he feels that slight imbalance, he drops into a canter on that lead. Like he's just comfortable there. So for me, it was definitely like throwing a lot of transitions in and trying to rate him with my body. And it takes time. And sometimes he's very unhappy about the whole situation. Like, this is not fun.
Right. And it's like the smaller the circle I go, the more definite she's going to break into that canter.
Yeah.
So that's almost where like, it's okay. Well, okay, if I ask for a large circle, like it literally had to be like 30-meter, like even bigger, because our ring's like pretty big at the barn, like even bigger to be like, okay, we're going to be able to keep this at a trot. Because if it's like anything smaller than 30 meters, it's just like, okay, well, it's going to be a canter now.
What about her walk to trot transitions and trot to walk?
So I worked on that today. Her walk to trot transitions, she just wants to break into a canter. So I've had to sit, like do sitting trots, like sit the trot, basically, no rising whatsoever. And she's gotten pretty good. And she's also very, very good at voice commands. So she's listening to me.
A win,
So I'll be
yeah.
like, yeah. So that's great. And I'm thrilled about that. Like she's reacting. As soon as I say hey, I have a feeling her previous riders have said hey to her or the same tone that I'm using. Because as soon as I say hey, it's as if I said check. Like
Oh, that's good though.
she
She's
just sits
listening.
back a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not super great because she still just wants to launch.
How
And I
does
could
she lunge? Will she trot on the lunge? Like,
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah, it's actually harder to get her to canter on the lunge, which is funny.
Yeah.
I know.
That's,
I know.
I would definitely go back to walk, trot transitions, walk, trot, walk,
Yeah.
trot, walk. Like,
Yeah.
and just keep trotting until you feel like she starts to speed up and then back to walk. And then you just get to the point where you do it more and more and more. And she understands that if she can't hold the gait, she's going to go back down to the walk, which I anticipate she probably doesn't enjoy as much
No,
as maybe
not at all.
moving out. So
Not at all. Yeah. No, but she was really good today. She had a really good, really good disposition towards the walk today, which I was
That's
thrilled
good.
about because
Yeah.
literally 3 rides ago, I got on and all she wanted to do was bolt around the ring.
Just like go.
Just
Yeah.
just literally canter and
We've all had
chaotic
days like that.
circles.
So
Yeah. So then the next time I got on, she was like a little bit better. And then today it was just like walk, trot, and occasional canter. And I was like, whew, okay, it's not
So
going to be
good.
constant.
Joy, more outside aids. Circle with the outside aids. Stay off the inside rein. Is she hanging on the inside rein? So what she means is when you're going around the trot, is she requiring you to really hold her up with that inside rein, or is that inside rein? So in theory, when your horse is round and in a frame, your horse should be connected from the inside leg to the outside rein. And that inside rein, in theory, could just like lax periodically, and the horse is not going to go off of the bend that they're on. So when a horse requires a lot of pressure on that inside rein in a turn, it's considered hanging.
She hangs to the left, but not the right.
Okay. So she's probably right-sided.
Yeah.
Which is
good for
good.
games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good for
It's-
games. She's a looker too. She wants to look at everything. She doesn't
Yeah.
really want to pay attention to what's like happening on top of her. She wants to see like what's going
Leading
on.
with
And
the eyes.
in our indoor, we have a bunch of birds that constantly fly in and out of the indoor. So it's just chaotic like the whole time. And it's like, huh, huh, huh. And she moves her head like so dramatically. So I'm like,
What's happening up there? She's pretty
constantly trying to
compact.
keep contact.
It definitely, so yeah, those leg aids will be huge. And I know she's pretty soft, but just continuing to work the yields too.
It's
It'll
the
help
leg
you
aids.
carry a bend at some point.
Yeah.
And it's a good point. If your pony wants to keep rushing, start working yields a little bit more bend off of the leg as another way to use that energy up versus just running out.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, as soon as I put the leg on, she wants to shoot forward. And
Mhm.
that's like, I'm talking touch her. Like
Yeah.
as soon as like my calf literally touches her, she just wants to launch forward.
So we got to keep leg on her.
Yeah.
It's going to be
there's-
uncomfortable and she's going to hate it
Yes.
at first, but it's almost
Yes.
like desensitizing her to it.
Right. Watching her, she's just not relaxed enough. Lots of transitions. Teach the halt and half halt and keep it slow. Even though she wants to go fast.
So hard. It's so hard. But it's true.
Okay.
It's like, this is like winner to-do list, right? This isn't a quick fix. All of this is going to be taking time and building that relationship and building the strength for her to carry herself.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ponies when they're weak, they're like, just do it faster and then it'll be easier. And I feel like, honestly, like, actually, this makes sense. I'm drawing connections in my head, but think about weightlifting, right? If you're weightlifting on like the pulleys, if you weightlift quickly,
You just get it over with.
but it's easier than if you do a superset where it's super slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the more that we're asking the horse to condense and package themselves and collect themselves and go slow, it is a lot more work.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's the same problem I have with Fizz is he's like, this is hard. And then he's just like, tries to rush through. He's like, workout over. Like, we're done. Just run.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I don't know. It's a way to think about it that I hadn't before.
Well, Caroline says if you have to get her between your legs and hands, she doesn't trust legs yet.
She says
Yeah.
keep the leg on. Get her
Okay.
used to the aid. Unfortunately.
Okay.
It's weird when
Okay.
you're starting like a baby horse. I know Ash was actually this way when he was first backed under saddle as a big baby warm blood giraffe, walrus creature. Anytime you'd put leg on, he wanted to just kind of skirt. He just was very uncomfortable with the pressure. When you're on
Yeah.
an 18-hand baby horse, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
When you put leg on and your horse is like, rah, like, let's just go. But my trainer at the time is like, keep the leg on, even if they're running. Like that aid, you should be able to get to the point where they're so used to it that
Yeah.
it's just a part of riding. It's not necessarily even an active aid when you have that weight and security there.
Mhm.
It's so important. Hero was the same way when I first got him, though. I put leg
Was
on
he?
and he was just like shooting out. Yeah, he was all over the place. And so now though, he and kind of enjoys having the security of having the leg constantly there.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to hit him with it, but he feels the tension of your seat, which I think
Okay.
some horses like Fizz, maybe her. I'm almost intentionally keeping my legs off on days I don't want to piss him off.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I feel. So every time, like literally every single day, I go see her and I eventually catch her because she's not easy to catch now. And now that she sees me, she's like, oh crap, you mean discomfort. So
Harsh.
she runs away from me, which is super
Ugh.
duper great. Anyway, I do eventually catch her because she comes for the treats. She's like, okay, fine. I have been on a daily basis just like patting my hands over her entire body because she needs that exposure. Like she's not used to being touched clearly
Mhm.
at all. Like barely at all. Like maybe her neck and then she likes her face to be rubbed, but the rest of her body she's like, ugh, no, ugh. And every single time you touch her, she jumps like this.
Yeah. She's super
Every single
sensitive to it.
time. The
Yeah.
first time. And then you pat her again and she jumps a little bit less. And you pat her again and she jumps a little bit less. And then you have to do the same exact thing on the other side and she jumps really hard. And then you have to do it again and again and again till there's no jumping. And then you go, okay, now let's go. Like now you're used to being touched by a human.
Like every day.
Yes. But it's less and less and less
Yeah.
every time by like this
It'll get
much.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just she probably just legitimately didn't have that kind of start.
Yeah. That's what I
Even if
think
she's
too.
running, just keep the leg on, hold on for dear life.
Yeah, okay.
It'll all
Joy.
work out.
You said, Joy?
Mine too. Shannon, what is that in reference to?
I think it's in reference to the leg. Talking about like the legs and the sensitivity. But
Yeah.
I could be wrong. We are closing into an hour, y'all.
We are, guys. Thanks. This one was a little bit haphazard. It was fun having people call. I'm going to figure out how to do it with 2 screens. I'm not sure, but we'll make it happen in the future so that you guys can call in and we can both talk to you a little bit less crazy. It would be cool to do like a question or, have somebody pose. What I'd like to do is have people post like some trouble videos that they're having with certain things, right? And then
That's such a good idea.
have people call in and maybe give some advice on what's working for them just to work on that. So like, for example, I did like what is your magic wish like that you would want to solve for mounted games? A lot of people came in and said vaulting. They want to learn to vault. They want to vault. It'd be really good to get some video of like some different things maybe pull together for next week and then have people actually call in and give some advice on, how you can do that a little bit better, or how they learned how to vault. Pretty sure it's for you
Yeah, it's just you, Linda.
because I was just going to say.
Shannon says my baby likes to speed away from leg, but is getting better. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a baby thing, I think. It's just, it's
Just-
a green
yeah.
horse thing, and they just
Maturity.
have to get used to it.
Just going to take time. But it's a good thing. You can be like, now when you look back in 4 months, and she's going to be so much better at the
Yes.
consistency. So
Yeah, I know. And the coolest part is getting to see improvement every single ride. Like,
Yep.
every single time I work with her, I notice improvement. And I'm just like, okay, we're literally gonna like make changes
it's
overnight.
going to be
That's
so
awesome.
cool. She's going to be so incredible when she
Yeah.
comes around. It's just
I'm
going
so
to take
excited.
time. You guys, thank you so much for hanging in with us. We'll have a little bit more structure next week, but this is always fun. And it's honestly, I look so forward to this. Even when I'm like totally not prepared, I'm like, I get to talk with games people to some degree. Even if there's 7 of you in a room. Imagine if we had actually like 7 plus the 2 of us, so 9
know.
people in a room. Like I would be so thrilled in the winter. So
Right?
this is fun, right?
Right? Great. Yeah, no, it was awesome. Thank you everyone for your words of wisdom and advice, and I will keep you updated on Poppy. Honestly, if we do end up doing that, like shares a video and asks for advice, I swear I'm gonna post pictures of Poppy and videos of Poppy and be like, okay, guys, help me fix her.
Let's do that, guys. So I'll try to keep some people up that maybe can give us some feedback. And I'm gonna put a post up. And if you guys have any fail videos, any videos of difficult training situations, even if you're already past it, but you just want to use it as an example, please message it to me, send the videos to me, and we'll go through them and we'll maybe do a call in where we can solicit feedback on what's working for other people. We've got a lot of trainers on here. We've got Shannon Joy, we've got Carol Ann. A lot of people that can come on and maybe give advice for what's working for them. Might be so much fun.
Because we've definitely all been there, done that, and I'm sure anyone listening can definitely benefit from any advice.
If you
Time
guys
to do
can
the ponies
please-
again.
Thank you so much, Joy,
Boy.
for coming. But if you guys can please go to our YouTube, share any videos that you can. We're just trying to build the YouTube presence. So our Facebook, actually, we've got like over 130 followers now, which is amazing. I just got to notice that we have been uploading premium content to Facebook. And so now we're going to be shown more in the algorithm for the next week, which is
Ooh la
really exciting.
la.
I know it means that we're doing something right and we're consistent. And all of this is about the algorithm actually picking up your page and driving traffic to it, which you guys is a net benefit because it's getting people exposure to the sport of mounted games. And we all want to see this sport grow. So if you guys can share the YouTube page specifically, it is the second largest search engine on the web, and it will help us drive traffic, which will in turn allow us to get stuff out with our podcasting platform for Apple and Spotify, etc. So you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for watching, hanging out with us.
Like,
We'll see you next
subscribe,
week.
comment. Bye, guys.
Yeah, bye.